Russian troops complain about ammunition transferred to them by North Korea. Russian soldiers say there are problems with the use of shells, RBC-Ukraine reports, citing Nazar Voloshyn, spokesperson for the Khortytsia operational strategic grouping of troops. We have information that Russian troops are complaining about difficulties in using ammunition supplied by North Korea. In other words, they don't fly where they should, and Russians cannot handle them properly, Voloshyn said. According to the Ukrainian military, Russian soldiers on the front line are also complaining about poor logistical support. This includes a lack of ammunition, food and water. This problem has become particularly acute for them with the onset of cold weather. They are even complaining about the lack of warm clothing. Voloshyn added, North Korea previously supplied the Russian army with artillery, ammunition and ballistic missiles, which Moscow uses to attack Ukraine. In the fall, the reports informed that North Korea had sent over 10,000 of its soldiers to Russia. They underwent training at Russian military ranges and were then deployed to the Kherson region. Ukrainian military sources reported that North Korean troops had already participated in combat operations. Media also reported casualties among not only North Korean soldiers but also officers. Furthermore, according to the Financial Times, Pyongyang supplied Russia with long-range missile and artillery systems. Recall, the Russian military is receiving Iranian shells, which are praised as good and cursed by North Koreans. Due to the low quality of the powder, they are used in situations where accuracy and viability, and in general the exit of the projectile from the barrel, is of the least importance. Iranian shells leave traces of soot, which have to be cleaned from the firing pin, but fly very well. The portfolio of the General Staff channel writes, North Korean shells do not reach their targets, he adds, because the powder charge in the shells often does not match the declared one. Supplied in a hurry, even without firing tables, the ammunition displayed systematic dispersion in range, reported by Russian artillerymen from the front line. Determined to find out the reason of poor performance, a Russian military-themed general telegram shared a photo post detailing the research on North Korean propellant charges for 152mm projectiles marked NDT-3. Although this marking actually refers to the contents and the actual name of the shell is unknown.
After their surprise advance in Syria's western Aleppo city, local insurgents have captured a large amount of military hardware belonging to Bashar al-Assad's fleeing forces. The rebels have publicized the list of war spoils. Among the military equipment seized from government forces are 31 tanks of different modifications, 20 infantry fighting vehicles, mainly BMP-1, 12 guns of 122mm caliber, 2 outdated guns of 130mm caliber, 3 units of 122mm self-propelled gun, Gvozdika, weapons and ammunition, including Igla, 2-man portable air defense system. Syrian opposition fractions led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, attacked Aleppo on Wednesday, capturing 13 villages and 2 key towns of al-Sugra and Njara. The rebel groups entered Aleppo on Friday, 3 days into their surprise offensive. In their Telegram channel, the opposition groups called their operation "deterrence of aggression" and said it was in response to recent shelling from Bashar al-Assad's forces.
الله أكبر. هذا مستودع مليان قذائف من متنوعة، دباب يهاون. أيضا مستودع ثالث كمان مليان بتمن. وهاي ذخائر أيضا، الغرفة الثاني ذخائر. هذا المكان الميليشيات كان. برادر الله منه وما عرض أقصد كيف وكابر الله بزجه زمبرك أطرق يعني فتيقل بعض تاوتن أولجن قاشكن كشف ما زمبركنا غنيمة الله ما شاء الله ما zulmaşın skema süreydigan. Maşallah brotherlar. Allah Teala tekrar ganiyetimiz. Jalk basın. Maşallah ben herip kettim brother toğutçuma. Hazırım. Kiyimlerini somkalarını eleşkim ülgemepti brotherlar. Derhal abi tozanlar oyunu, tızbalanlar, boşaşmanlar, buradeler, tavutlar kaçkanda. Allah, karındaşlar, Allah'ın fazla rahmetiyle bana Mağardım sidki çoğun bir ambani. Allah Teala Fatih koyduğuna zemberekleri. Benim av zilmaşilleri. Biraderle okutmaz maşımı hücum kıldı ya mücahitler. Hadi mücahitler hey! Nasılsınız? İyi misiniz? Elhamdülillah! Nasılsınız? Allahu Ekber!
Insurgents breached Syria's second-largest city Aleppo after blowing up 2 car bombs on Friday and were clashing with government forces on the city's western edge, according to a Syria war monitor and fighters. Residents were fleeing neighborhoods on the city's edge because of missiles and gunfire, according to witnesses in Aleppo. The insurgents' advance on Aleppo followed a shock offensive they launched on Wednesday, as thousands of fighters swept through villages and towns in Syria's northwestern countryside. Robert Ford, the last-serving U.S. ambassador to Syria before the U.S. suspended embassy operations early in the civil war, said the fighting in Aleppo would become more broadly destabilizing if it drew Russia and Turkey, each with their own interests to protect in Syria, into direct heavy fighting against each other. The war is heating up a bit and will heat up until Turkey and Russia come to an agreement about a new ceasefire, explained Ford.
We see an offensive primarily by the terrorist group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, which is usually in English referred to by its acronym HTS. It's an offensive that they are undertaking with help from some other Syrian opposition armed groups. They are pushing east from the northwestern Syrian province of Idlib, just immediately south of Turkey, into the neighboring province of Aleppo. It matters because the Syrian armed opposition, including HTS, has essentially been fighting a static war for the last 5 years. And the Syrian government has occasionally bombed or launched very small-scale incursions into these remaining armed opposition-controlled areas, but there hasn't been fighting of this scale for many years. And reason it's also important is that the Syrian government's forces have been extremely weak and have rapidly retreated. And so we see that the Syrian civil war, which has been going on now really since 2012, has suddenly flared up again in this one location up in northwestern Syria. Does it mean that the Syrian government is about to collapse? No, but it does suggest that the war is heating up a bit and will heat up until Turkey and Russia come to an agreement about a new ceasefire.